बट आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही। यू नीड टू ऑन योर स्पीकर। नहीं नहीं, वहां से ऑन करो स्क्रीन से।
Sorry.
हम्म। चलो बोलो।
Um, so I think that especially IT and digitization is very important for social entrepreneurship, and not just for social entrepreneurship, but for entrepreneurship and businesses right now itself. Especially, so I have a homegrown, it's a family-based entrepreneurial venture called Ofrida, and we make handmade art, we make handmade artisanal clothing. And so we primarily use the e-commerce mode of business, wherein we have tied up with Shopify. So, and that is our primary source of revenue. So, I mean, even for like MSMEs, I mean, right now, these kind of solutions, IT solutions are very important in terms of reaching markets effectively, in terms of less cost, and in terms of creating diversification of products and markets. It's extremely important to be connected in this day and age in terms of globalization, and IT really helps with that. And other than that, right now, if we look at PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana and we look at the skill development, we're focusing more on automation and digitization. If we come to look at any sphere, whether it's education, whether it's entrepreneurship, we need digitization because it is simply more cost effective, and it helps reduce barriers of geography, of yes. And other than that, even COVID especially has created that need because for the past 1 year, people have not been able to go out shopping to physical marketplaces. And so right now, online shopping has really boosted in the last 1 year. And so, in that sense, again, it is very important to keep up with technology.
Okay. Okay, then you will start with your the interview will start with your introduction. So
I'm Tanvi Agarwal, and I was born and brought up in Delhi. I come from a nuclear family, and both my parents are retired. My father was a senior bank manager, and my mother is a government school teacher. My sister is a fashion entrepreneur, and she runs her own label by the name of Frida. And since a very young age, I've been passionate about dancing. So I took up street jazz and Kathak. And in the ninth grade, I joined NCC, where I went to trekking camps in Tamil Nadu. And there I was exposed to shooting, and so I really enjoyed it. And so I started training in 10-meter air pistol shooting and competed in various school, state, and national events. And in the 10th grade, I decided that I wanted to do commerce with maths because I wanted to study economics further. I felt that it had a wide scope of knowledge from understanding the development of nations to understanding the decision making behavior of people and firms in a microeconomic perspective. And especially being a citizen of a country that is afflicted with high rates of poverty and unemployment, I felt I wanted to study these issues more deeply. So I decided to pursue economics honors from Jesus and Mary College. And through that, I became part of wonderful societies like the JMC MUN Society, the Art of Living Organization, and ISEC, which is the world's largest youth run organization. And during my undergrad, I also interned with the Center of Policy Research and Governance for a period of 1 month with Ofrida, which is the handmade clothing label. And also, more recently, Project Lab, which is an NGO that is driven by youth activism and aims towards creating social awareness and development.
okay. So what was your internship project at Policy Research Center? So can you tell me about the
So
KRAs that that you had performed there?
Sir, I was basically doing policy evaluation for the newsletter teams. Every month we would have newsletter publications. So we would have teams, and I primarily worked on three key schemes. One was the PM Kisan, Second was the Make in India scheme, and another was PMM NMTT, which is basically the world's largest, the country's largest teacher training program. So those are the three projects I worked on.
So the second project, second scheme was
India.
Make in India. So what exactly that happens in Make in India?
So, sir, it was launched in 2014 and it had some key aims. The first was to create India into a global manufacturing hub. Another was to create 100 million jobs in the manufacturing sector by 2022. Another aim was to increase the manufacturing sector's growth to 14% per annum and to increase its contribution to GDP to 25%. And evaluating the scheme, I saw that the industrial index, so the index for industrial production has been extremely slow. It's been around 3% or sometimes even negative. And the scheme was very ill-timed because there is a rising protectionism around the world. So there is not a rise of FDI or FPI. I mean, the kind of investment we're getting is mostly from shell companies. So they're looking to make quick profits. They're not looking to invest in our country and help it grow. And also the kind of labor laws we have, which has had a lot of discussion in terms of the Industrial Regulation and Development Act, or there's the Industrial Disputes Act. They're very age-old uh, laws that are not redundant, but they need to be innovated in the sense that right now we still require licenses to set up businesses in our country, or the fact that we need government permission for laying off workers if the factory has more than 100 workers. So, I mean, these laws are innovating entrepreneurial spirit, they're innovating investment. And there are lots of
So can you
other.
tell me what industry has the largest contribution in Indian manufacturing sector?
Sir, I'm not sure, but I know that the prominent industries are textile, leather. There's IT sector in
IT sector is more of service.
so more of services. But there's
So,
coal mining. There's more of leather and textiles.
okay. So what actually, you told me about what basically becomes the barrier in growth of manufacturing sectors. So to solve or to eradicate those barriers, what was the scheme there in Make in India? Because all those things that you talked about was the goals of Make in India project, that they wanted to keep this much amount of manufacturing or this much amount of growth, or they wanted to create job. So all this, if the government wants, that doesn't mean private players are coming with the government's objective. So what are the policy, what are the support which government of India was providing?
Sir, I mean, in terms of just opening up the sectors to foreign capital, which still has not happened. It's not been complete. In 1991, we had economic reforms where we had delegalization and
That's
we
okay.
adopted.
What I'm asking you, with this scheme, which is called the Make in India, which you were talking about, what government is doing in that scheme?
I'm not very sure about the details of the scheme, but in terms of creating social economic zones, so that there's better connectivity and there's. So I'm not very sure about the
So
scheme.
what did you tell about special economic zone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you know whether, do you know any SEZ, or have you ever visited or no, or do you
So
have
I have
any?
not visited a particular SEZ.
Okay. So when this SEZ scheme started, do you have any idea about this?
No, sir.
So was
But
it
I'm
the
aware the support essentially that MSMEs are getting in Make in India was one such scheme that was there to support the MSME sector in our country.
hmm,
And apart from that, there have been many other schemes like Skill India and Skill Mission. There have been financial support schemes like Startup India, and more recently in 2020 to 21, we started with um, the seed money. There was a scheme so that entrepreneurs can get seed money to start their own ventures, and it had a budget about 300 crores or something. So there are various schemes that the government is providing, but there's still a lot of improvement to be seen.
Okay. So, so if we talk about economics, because what does economics says? Which industry has the, no, not which industry, which sector has the largest contribution of in Indian GDP?
So services would have the highest growth also, and the contribution to GDP
So
right
how
now.
much contribution is there from the service sector?
Sir, I don't know the exact number, but it's around 30%, I believe. 30 to
30%.
40%. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And which industry in even in service, you know, even in service, which particular industry contributes most
So
of the
right
GDP?
now, sir, I think tourism and aviation right now contribute for 9.8% out of the services, which is a large amount. And apart from that, we have pharmaceuticals, we have the IT industry, especially the BPO
So
services.
pharmaceuticals, you will be counting it as a product manufacturing or a service sector?
Um, Sir, I believe it is both, but it would be actually part of manufacturing sector, not not services.
Okay. And what is the percentage contribution of agriculture, मतलब जो primary sector? What is the percentage contribution of primary sector in India?
Um, Sir, I believe it is around 14 to 15%, and I'm not very sure about the number.
The
But
percentage
I know
figure.
that yes, sir, but according to the economic survey, the growth has been stagnant for about 6 years in agricultural sector. But I'm not very sure of the
So
contribution.
growth is stagnant for agricultural sector, or the percentage contribution is stagnant for agricultural sector?
So the growth in agriculture sector has been stagnant. The contribution might have changed, but the growth has been stagnant.
Okay. So when we say agricultural and allied, what other things comes apart from agriculture in that to call it or to make it allied?
So more of non-agricultural activities.
Like,
Um, so more of, for example, there could be dairy production. There could be, I mean, right now we are seeing a food diversification of habits, and so we're shifting more from agricultural activities to non-agricultural activities.
like
And so horticulture and dairy production could be some of them.
okay. So you don't remember the percentage contribution of all these sectors? What are the exact?
No.
Okay, no issues. So what do you think? Can we, like other country, like many other European country, can we ignore the manufacturing sector and can we base our economy entirely on primary and the tertiary sector?
Sir, although that has not been the the path to development for most countries. I mean, the way that the growth uh, happens is that we move from primary to secondary and then to tertiary sector. That is how the growth.
But many
Uh,
developed country has just service sector or little of
yes,
primary sector. They don't have manufacturing at all.
yes, sir. But
Hmm.
sir, I mean, every country has its own specialty. Given that we have such a abundant labor supply right now, it seems that we have focused more on services because we have a lack of capital and technology right now. We do not have the investment right now, and even though initially in independence we focused more on creating a capital base, but then that has not exactly served us well. We are sort of like forerunners in the service sector when it comes to the kind of technology and content creation. In our syllabus, there was an IMF reading which talked about how India is kind of one of the forerunners when it comes to the kind of content we are delivering, the kind of value that we're adding in the global supply chain when it comes to services. But in manufacturing, we're not able to do that when we compare ourselves to developing peers like China, Thailand, even in the Southeast Asian region, we are not able to fare well. We have high costs. We have other problems like I said, the laws. So we're not able to compete globally when it comes to manufacturing.
Okay. So if we'll go for the manufacturing sector also, so even India, at least we are not very good in manufacturing sector, but we still do have uh,
Yes,
good manufacturing setup or good manufacturing output for many of the industry.
yes,
So
sir.
can you tell me a few industry which basically is doing good in term of manufacturing in India?
So in terms of manufacturing, we have, like I said, pharmaceuticals, which now I know that the Serum Institute in Pune is one of the largest developers of general medicines and vaccinations right now. And so pharmaceuticals is one such industry. Other than that, we also have a large scope in automobiles and automation. And because we have a large supply of engineers as well. So then that has been an advantage for us.
Okay. So coming to the automobile sector, what kind of market it is? Matlab, like if you'll identify the competition, type of competition. So what kind of competition is it in automobile sector?
So from what I know, the developed country,
No,
sorry,
okay. Tell me, what are the different type of competition that exist
so I'm not sure in terms of,
in economics terms? What your subject says.
so I'm not sure. So we've not studied the different kinds of competition. I mean, there is global competition that Indian firms have to face as competition in the
No, they say
national.
like we try to identify the competition with what kind of competition, what their type and their nature, like monopoly, duopoly.
Oh, right, sir.
Mm,
Sorry. Yes, we have different kinds of competition. I mean, that is more like market structure than competition. I mean, it is
okay.
based on competition, but it basically refers to the market structure
Mm,
in the sense that we have monopoly or we have oligopoly or we have a perfectly competitive market,
mm.
which means that everybody is selling
So
everything at
tell
the
me
same
all the
price.
names that you know of the
So
type
there
of
are three main structures based
mono
on competition. There's
monopoly.
monopoly, there's oligopoly,
Mm,
which means that there are few but large number of producers
mm.
in an industry. And the third is perfect competition, which means that uh, everybody is selling everything at the same price and there's abundant supply.
Mm. So so you don't find any other type important to
So
mention.
there are various degrees of competition within them. These are the three main. Like you said, there's duopoly also, and there are other structures, but these are the three main ones that we study in depth.
Okay, so monopolistic would be a type of competition which you can add in that list.
Yes, sir.
So do you know
So
what is mono?
the monopoly is essentially no competition in the sense that there is only a single producer in an
No,
industry
no, not
providing
monopoly. I am talking about monopolistic.
monopolistic. Yes, sir.
So do you have any idea of this type of market share, market structure or competition?
Um, Sir, I'm not sure. I believe that it has the same kind of powers as a monopoly in the sense that it's a price setter and that it has. So I remember. So monopolistic competition would basically means that there are more than one producer, but then they basically diversify their goods in terms of the way they're marketing it and the way they present it. So this is where the idea of advertising and marketing comes in the monopolistic structure, which is that they are, for example, even for a toothpaste we'll have multiple sellers, but
Hmm.
then they'll have different products because they're advertising it in a different way. They have different descriptions. So that is where monopolistic comes in.
Okay. So can you tell me about uh, indifference curve?
Yep. So indifference curve essentially means refers to the different kinds of combinations of goods that a consumer or a producer essentially has to keep the utility safe. Um, in terms of, so if we look at the consumer analysis, if we have two goods, for example, food, and we have, um, say, clothes. So then indifference curve would be a graphical mapping of all of those different points, consumption points, so that the utility of the consumer remains the same. That is one indifference curve. And so moving up and down, we can change the utility that the consumer has by increasing the quantity of
Okay.
the good.
And what is isoquant?
The isoquants are so I would just need a minute. Yes, sir. So basically, although again, if we have x-axis and a y-axis, and we say that both the products that we're choosing are inputs instead of the consumer goods, we are thinking of in terms of the producer analysis. If we look at inputs like land and labor, so all of the different kinds of quantities of land and labor, so as to keep the quantity constant, quantity of the output constant. So that would represent one isoquant.
Okay. So let's go to macroeconomic part. So what is the GDP of India right now? Matlab,
So I'm not sure about the quantity.
okay, so
So I'm
we
not.
do check, we do count GDP in two different way, nominal and PPP. I don't know what is the difference between these two.
So PPP would be basically when we are factoring in the price differences um, from, for example, if I have to explain it, so the prices of goods and services in developed countries are different from those in developing countries. And so PPP is a way, purchasing power parity is a way to account for that differences in pricing. And so once we account for it, we have a better idea of how our economy stands in comparison to the world economy. So that is the difference. And nominal and real, of course, means that when it comes to real, we're looking at only the actual production of goods and services. And when we're looking in terms of nominal, we're looking in terms of the money value of those goods and services. So that would be one way to measure the GDP.
So you were talking about that your sister has an entrepreneurial venture.
Yes, sir.
Uh, can you elaborate what kind of supply chains he has or what kind of business he has?
Yes, sir. So, sir, it's a artisanal handmade clothing brand. We work with craft clusters in areas like Pochampally, Telangana, and Khoda and Loni in UP, as well as Ikat weavers in Kutch, Gujarat. And so, essentially, as I told you, we have an e-commerce platform. We've tied up with Shopify, and other than that, we are also tying up with stores like Ohan for an on-ground presence. And thirdly, we are also traveling and setting up stalls in trade fairs and exhibitions like Kala Ghoda in Bombay, and there's the government initiative called Dastar in Delhi, the Vintage Garden in Bombay. So then we use these kind of platforms.
So how much time? When she started? When did she start?
So just a second, I'm sorry. Sorry, sir.
No, no. When did she start?
So she has been making bags and clutches for a long time, but since 2018, she started her enterprise full-fledgedly. I mean, that is the time when it was registered as Ofida.
So what is the legal status of her enterprise right now?
So it's a private partnership.
Partnership.
Yes, sir.
So who is the partner?
So my father and my sister, they are partners and we run the business together. It's a
Okay.
family-owned business.
Okay. So the business structure, legal structure is still private partnership.
Yes, sir.
So
So
are
we
they
have not
also
floated the company for any kind of investment or it's privately owned.
it's private partnership
Yes,
firm and do they also have or does she also have GST registration?
yes, sir.
So how much GST you pay? What
So,
percent of GST you pay? So do you have do you also involved in that business? Are you also
I
like
mean, essentially, because we're selling goods, we're selling clothes. So, of course, as per the government of India, we pay, as per the GST Act, we pay about 12% on whatever sales that have happened. And so I mean, yearly we pay our GST.
Okay. So yearly, matlab, what is the frequency of GST payment?
Sir, I'm not very sure about the frequency of GST payments, but I believe they happen every 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
I mean, as per the balances, as per the ledger that we get from our suppliers as well, we have to take that into account, and then with that, we make the payments.
Okay. So Daniel, the last question would be, why do you want
Yes.
to go for social entrepreneurship?
So I want to pursue social entrepreneurship because I want to use entrepreneurial means for creating a social impact. Having a entrepreneurial venture at home, I've gotten an insight into the hardships and realities of starting and running an entrepreneurial venture. And I wish to pursue this course because I want to gain a strong theoretical foundation as well as entrepreneurial skills for tackling these challenges, like I mentioned: marketing, finance, hiring, production, social impact assessment, to more daunting tasks like ensuring growth and scalability. And I particularly feel that in the next 5 years, the world is going to be a different place, wherein businesses will be major proponents of socio-economic change. And I feel that social entrepreneurship holds great potential in solving these social issues like unemployment, ensuring access to healthcare and education for the masses. And it has the right integration of profit and purpose. And if we look in India, especially right now, in the last 20 years, there have been some exciting new opportunities. Social incubators like Dasra and Will Grow have grown, and even social impact funds like Avishkar and Look Capital. So for me particularly, I feel like social entrepreneurship would be a means to create an empowered
That's okay.
grassroots
But do
society.
you find yourself eligible for this course, or do you find yourself good enough for the course, or will you be able to do what you are talking about? And what
Yes,
makes
I,
you feel that, matlab, what do you
yes.
see or what do you find in yourself?
So given my background in economics, I feel, and also I believe that I have a business acumen to start my own venture. Right now, um, I'm applying for this course so that I can gain that theoretical foundation in terms of addressing these challenges that even our company is facing right now. So if I do this course, my main objective would be to create a social impact through the firm that I have right now. And
No,
other
I
than
was
that,
talking about
I'm
what kind of capabilities do you have right now, with which you are quite confident that you can do that.
so exactly the fact that I am an economics student, and considering the kind of course curriculum we have from
So, what theory of
understanding
economics
macroeconomic
basically helps
finance.
you in social entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial venture? What theories and
Um,
what
so,
concept that you study in economics, which basically helps you in that?
so, sir, our entire first year of economics honors is basically a foundation of microeconomics from understanding basic principles like the inframarginal principle, basically saying that the marginal cost should be equal to the marginal price. That is where firm should produce, or like I said, doing a basic consumer analysis, consumer behavior analysis, or producer analysis, understanding production functions. And I think this theory has practical application that I can use. And other than that, again, for the past 3 years, the kind of experience that I've had, seeing up close the kind of hardships and the kind of um, mental strength that it takes to.
Okay, so chalo, this will be the last.
Yes.
You need to differentiate need, want, and demand.
Um, so I just need a minute to answer that question.
Mhm.
So I feel like at least between need and want is um, more like a distinction between what is needed for ensuring survival. Like a need would be a need for food, for shelter, for clothing, which would mean that these are necessary for ensuring survival of a person. and versus a want would be something more of a desire that is not necessarily related to your survival, but is more of a luxury. And similarly, demand of a product would simply mean how much the consumer is willing to pay for a unit of a good. That would be the meaning of demand.
ओके, चलो थैंक यू।
Thank you.
तो ऐसा है कि मार्क्स तो तुम्हारा आ जाएगा ठीक ठाक, 70 के आसपास तो आ ही जाएगा इसमें। लास्ट का हम मतलब फीडबैक में और भी चीज़ें हम देख के बता देंगे तुम्हें, और तुम भी एक बार इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग देखना, है ना। कुछ इकोनॉमिक्स ब्रसअप करना पड़ेगा तुम्हें।
Yes,
अ,
sir.
तुम्हें पता तो बहुत कुछ है, बट मोस्टली ऐसा फील होता है कि तुमने जैसे ग्रेजुएशन में पढ़ते हैं ना, तो उसका रिकॉल है ये, rather
Yes,
than the complete fundamental clarity,
yes.
है ना। तो एक तो नीड, वांट और डिमांड में हम तुम्हें एक बहुत जल्दी में क्विक बताएंगे। जैसे मान लो कि इफ आई एम हंग्री, ठीक है, राइट नाउ,
Yes.
सो आई नीड फूड, यह नीड है ये, है ना, विच इज
Mm.
बेसिकली यूटिलिटी को रिप्रेजेंट करता है कि आई नीड समथिंग टू ईट। सो
Yeah.
सो दैट्स द नीड। फिर अगर मुझे भूख तो लगी है एंड आई एम थिंकिंग कि मैं सीपी पे केएफसी में चिकन खा लेता, आई एम ऑल्सो थिंकिंग कि मैं अपने घर की माँ की बनाई हुई खाने खा लेता। आई कैन थिंक ऑफ ये कि मैं खुद से कुछ बना के खा लूँ। आई
Yes.
कैन ऑल्सो थिंक ऑफ कि आई कैन गो आउटसाइड एंड सिट इन अ होटल एंड आई कैन ईट समथिंग, ठीक है। तो ये डिफरेंट डिफरेंट जो ऑप्शंस मुझे दिख रहे हैं, है ना।
One.
हाँ, तो ये वांट्स हो गई,
Mm.
ठीक है। अब आउट ऑफ ऑल दीज ऑप्शंस जिसको मैं अफोर्ड कर सकता हूँ, अफोर्डेबिलिटी इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट willing to pay or monetary affordability. Like right now, I'm sitting in a
Okay.
home. I cannot go to CP. So the
Mm.
KFC is in my priority list, but I cannot afford it. Not because I don't have money for it, because I cannot go there right now. समझे? तो
Yes.
what I can afford, है ना, तो let's say कि there is a shop outside my gate, है ना, which provides just bread omelette and chai. So with the time and the money, I can just afford that, है ना। तो that's the demand, ठीक है।
Yes.
ये होता है। तो डिमांड दो तरीके से होता है, इट्स माई डिमांड, है ना, और प्रोडक्ट का डिमांड जब बोलते हैं तो मार्केट में कितना अमाउंट बिकता है वो प्रोडक्ट का डिमांड।
तो वो एग्रीगेट डिमांड हो गया।
हाँ, तो
हाँ.
बाकी सब ठीक है तुम्हारा, और वो बहुत बुरा था, एक्सटेम्पोर। हम्म, उसमें बुरा कहने का मतलब ये था कि कुछ तुम when you started with ना you don't have to start with the examples of your family business.
Yes, sir.
I
But
was I was talking about सी, मतलब उसमें ठीक है, वो तुमने दे दिया, बुरी बात नहीं है, मतलब वो ठीक था। बट तुमको पहले कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवली कवर करना था कि आईटी का एप्लीकेशन कहाँ कहाँ है। तो जैसे मान लो कि तुमने बोला कंज्यूमर स्टडीज में, है ना, एंटरप्रेन्योर करते हैं, एंटरप्रेन्योर रिसर्च करते हैं, प्रोडक्ट रिसर्च में
मेरा
भी।
आई थिंक मेन पॉइंट यही था कि मार्केट एक्सेसिबिलिटी, डाइवर्सिफिकेशन
मतलब
ऑफ मार्केट।
वो तो एक ही पॉइंट हुआ ना, हम सारा
यस
कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव वो दे देना, पॉइंट लिख दे। तो
यस
जैसे
सर।
जैसे व्हेन आई स्टार्ट थिंकिंग ऑफ माई, तो मैंने बोला कि पहले प्रोडक्ट के लिए या सर्विस के लिए हम इंटरनेट बेस्ड रिसर्च करते हैं, व्हाट
हम्म.
प्रोडक्ट सर्विसेज आर देयर। कोई भी प्रोडक्ट तुम बनाओ, जैसे मान लो भी हमारा एक स्टूडेंट है, ही इज ट्राइंग टू कम अप विद अ प्रोडक्ट व्हिच इज एंटी हैंगओवर। हम्म, तो सबसे पहले ये देखेगा ना कि उसका क्या कंपोनेंट होना चाहिए, उसमें भी इंटरनेट हेल्प कर रहा है उसे। यही अगर नहीं होता इंटरनेट, तो ही यूज टू हैव टू, मतलब ही विल हैव टू गो टू आयुर्वेदा सेंटर और डिफरेंट डिफरेंट प्लेसेस पे जहाँ पे वो उसकी स्टडी और रिसर्च पता करते हैं। तो नाउ प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस डिफाइन करने के लिए उसके बैकग्राउंड रिसर्च करने के लिए, फिर कस्टमर के बारे में रिसर्च करने के लिए, फिर एनीथिंग दैट यू वांट, जैसे लीगल वो करना है, कंप्लायंसेस करनी है उसके लिए। तो जस्ट नॉट, इट्स नॉट जस्ट मार्केटिंग।
यस सर.
सो इट्स लाइक ऑन एवरी स्टेप इंटरनेट कैन हेल्प इन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट वे।
यस
तो
सर.
आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट आईटी, मतलब इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी ओनली। और फिर उसके बाद में वो तो आता ही
So in terms of actually I forgot, so वही problem होती है, even though we would know what points are, but then given the time frame it
नहीं नहीं,
becomes difficult
प्रॉब्लम
to.
इसलिए दिक्कत होती है, तुमने नोट्स नहीं बनाया। अगर तुम टाइटल ध्यान में रखते हैं ना कि सी यू हैव सीन एंटरप्रेन्योरियल वेंचर, तो तुम्हारे लिए ये और आसान होना चाहिए था। तुम स्टेप्स काउंट करना शुरू करो। तुम कोई भी एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के स्टेप्स क्या है? पहले प्रोडक्ट नीड या कुछ आइडेंटिफाई करता है, ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम इशूज में ही वांट्स टू सॉल्व इट थ्रू एनी प्रोडक्ट एंड, तो आइडेंटिफाई करता है, चलो नीड आइडेंटिफाई वो खुद से भी कर सकता है, कहीं फेस कर सकता है, कहीं चैलेंज फेस कर सकता है, कहीं देख सकता है, बट व्हेन ही ट्राई टू create a products and services, he needs to do some research, है ना? तो
इसलिए
वहां
मतलब
पे
रिसर्च बिग डेटा राइट नाउ इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड वो
नो,
काम
फिर
तो है
बिग
ही।
डेटा की बात नहीं है, हम तो नॉर्मल रिसर्च की बात कर रहे हैं। जैसे मान लो कि इफ आई एम थिंकिंग कि मैं एक एक ऐसा सर्विस स्टार्ट करूं जो बच्चों को जॉब दिलवाए, ठीक है, विच लिटरली आई एम थिंकिंग, लेट्स से मतलब आई एम एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर आई एम थिंकिंग, तो सबसे पहले हम ये देखेंगे ना कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पीपल, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ बिहेवियर दैट समवन इज हैविंग इन बाइंग प्रोडक्ट, है ना, बाइंगे, किस तरह का प्रोडक्ट बिक रहा है, किस तरह का कंपटीशन है। सो इट डजेंट मैटर कि हाउ गुड, हाउ मतलब एट व्हाट लेवल आई एम मेकिंग द प्रोडक्ट, और कितना अच्छा प्रोडक्ट मैं बना रहा हूँ, कस्टमर उसको उस तरीके से परसीव नहीं कर रहा है, नहीं ले रहा है, तो दैट्स नॉट द प्रोडक्ट बेसिकली, वो तो बिकेगा ही नहीं। तो हम उसके लिए भी रिसर्च करते हैं, फिर रिसर्च कस्टमर के ऊपर रिसर्च करने के लिए भी इंटरनेट यूज करते हैं, कंपटीशन के ऊपर भी, फिर अब मुझे लीगल रजिस्टर कराना है, तो in what way I will do. So at every step internet can be very helpful in finding information. And अगर मुझे मान लो कि इन्वेस्टमेंट लेना है, तो आई कैन अप्लाई इट थ्रू इंटरनेट। तो जहाँ जहाँ पे भी स्टेप्स है वहाँ वहाँ लिख दो, rather
यस।
than just focusing, तो you can say that कि comprehensive यूज है at every stage।
Oh, my problem is that I wanted to use fancy words. तो मैंने जो बेसिक चीजें होती हैं कि लीगल कंप्लायंसेस होती हैं, बेसिक मार्केट
हाँ,
रिसर्च।
फैंसी वर्ड के चक्कर में नहीं पड़ो, कंटेंट पूरा होना चाहिए, ठीक है।
यस, कंटेंट, यस सर।
हम्म, ठीक है, तो ऐसे बाकी सब ठीक था। हाँ, इंटरव्यू तो तुम्हारा अच्छा था, बस वही मुझे लगा कि क्या बोलते हैं वो एक्सटेम्पोर